Hi everyone, this is Zach. In this video lecture, I'll be talking about recommendation systems. So what is a recommendation system? Many businesses have, particularly internet companies, have a lot of different types of products or content. So a recommendation system is used to predict how much a particular user might like a particular item or content. And these recommendation systems are used when you recommend products to, for example, on Amazon, or recommend content to users on, say, Instagram or Netflix. And that's why they're called recommendation systems, even though they basically are used for predicting ratings. But the ratings are used to make recommendations. All right, so why does Netflix use a recommendation system? Netflix was founded in 1997, and it allows its subscribers to watch movies or TV shows. In the beginning, Netflix sent you movies which were DVDs, which you rented from them, and you received these movies in the mail. So for example, there's a very distinctive red envelope that looks like this, and you put the DVD into you get it, you watch the movie, then you put it back, and then you just deposit it in the post box, and then you get another DVD, the next DVD rental. It was only much later, around 2010, that streaming was added. And I think this is the one that most of you young kids are familiar with, not getting DVD rentals from Netflix. But anyway, here's some ancient knowledge for you. Currently, Netflix has about 167 million subscribers, so they've been extremely successful. One of the problems that Netflix faces is that it needs to recommend shows to users. So let's set the stage. You've worked hard, it's time to Netflix and chill. And by chill, I mean relax. You open Netflix and then you find that there's a lot of content that you haven't watched yet. So there could be more than 6,000 movies and more than 1,600 TV shows which have lots of series and lots of episodes. So which show should you choose to watch when you just want to relax? Well, just choosing a show can feel quite overwhelming given the huge number of shows that there are to select. So because of this, Netflix needs to recommend shows to you in order to make it a better user experience for you, so you can really just chill and relax. Another thing that Netflix needs to know is that it needs to personalize its recommendations. For example, let's consider Adam Sandler, who makes a bunch of stars in different movies. And Netflix happens to have quite a few Adam Sandler movies. Now, some people really love his movies, but other people really hates them. So his movies are quite polarizing. So should Netflix recommend one of the newer Adam Sandler movies, Murder Mystery, to you? Well, it depends on whether you're the type of person who likes that type of movie. So how can Netflix guess what type of person you are? So Netflix uses a personalized recommendation system based on data, based on users' 5-star ratings for movies, as well as other users' 5-star ratings for movies. And the goal is to predict how you would rate a show that you haven't seen or rated yet. In 2006, Netflix announced something called the Netflix Prize, with the goal of getting better movie ratings and recommendations. The grand prize was $1 million. And to win that prize, you had to achieve a 10% improvement in an algorithm to predict movie ratings. So as an aside, this is actually an interesting and successful example of the concept of crowdsourcing. The main point for me to mention the Netflix Prize is that it demonstrates very clearly how Netflix can gain a lot of value from accurately predicting users' movie ratings, because this drives better movie recommendations and a better user experience for its subscribers. Alright, so now let's take a look at how Netflix makes movie recommendations. And this will be a much simplified version of what Netflix actually does. So as I mentioned before, Netflix has a database of user ratings for different movies. And at that time, Netflix used a 5-star rating system. One challenge is that most of the users have not rated most of the movies. Given how many movies there are, it's very likely you haven't watched most of them. The first method for predicting ratings is something called collaborative filtering. It's collaborative because you use the ratings of other users to predict your ratings. So let's look at a very simple example. If you look at the three movies, Apollo 13, Top Gun, Terminator, you'll notice that Amy and Carl have very similar ratings for these movies. So even though Carl has not watched Men in Black, you can guess that Amy and Carl are kind of similar in their tastes, and since Amy rated Men in Black highly, Carl probably would rate it highly too. A second method is something called contents filtering, where you are using movie information to recommend other movies. So for example, Amy rated Men in Black highly. She gave it a 5-star rating. So let's understand more about this content. Men in Black, one of the stars of Men in Black is Will Smith. So one way to make a recommendation is to recommend another movie which stars Will Smith, such as Hitch. If you look at the genres of Men in Black, it's in the genres of action, adventure, sci-fi, and comedy. So you could find another movie, Jurassic Park, which shares many of the genres, though I think comedy is missing, with Men in Black. If you look at the strengths and weaknesses of collaborative filtering versus content filtering, collaborative filtering requires a lot of user rating data, whereas content filtering doesn't require much user rating data. However, it requires a lot of data on the items or the products or the contents, such as genre, actors, and so on, directors. Whereas collaborative filtering does not need any item-specific data, it just needs to know what different users have rated those items. Another technique that can be used to predict ratings is something called clustering. Clustering is, using the definition from Wikipedia, clustering is the task of grouping a set of objects so that objects in the same group are more similar to each other than objects in other groups. So for example, if you look at the blue points, most of the blue points are closer to other blue points than to yellow or red points. Clustering is considered to be a type of unsupervised learning because there are no explicit labels that are given by humans. So we don't tell the algorithm that these points are yellow, these points are red, some points are blue, and then label the other points. We just let the algorithm decide, okay, what are the colors going to be? And in real life, Netflix basically uses a combination of collaborative filtering, content filtering, and clustering to solve its recommendation, to make recommendation or rating predictions and recommendations. So it definitely uses clustering and other users' ratings to find users who are similar to you. And when they want to recommend a show that you haven't watched but you probably like, first they'll look at shows that you've liked and use the similar users to guess ratings of shows that you haven't watched and recommend one of those to you. Alright, I also wanted to talk briefly about how Netflix recently updated its recommendation systems. So in 2017, Netflix junked its 5-star rating system, and one of the key reasons is that users were often confused by what the star ratings meant. So Amazon, for example, uses a 5-star rating system too, but on Amazon, when you see that a particular book, let's say, has 4.5 stars, it means that on average, that's what users rated it. But Netflix stars were not an average, they were actually a prediction of what you would rate that movie or show. So you can see why there is some confusion on the part of users. And one of the consequences were users felt that there was no point rating a show because if there are, for example, thousands of ratings already, then it's not going to change the stars. But in reality, Netflix wants your ratings so that it can make better predictions. So Netflix switched to a thumbs up or thumbs down system. And this system is much simpler, so it's easier for users to use. Just say, do you like it or you don't like it? And you don't have to try to decide, is it 3 stars or is 4 stars better, or maybe just 2 stars, and so on. More data leads to better predictions and a better user experience for Netflix subscribers. In addition, in terms of the recommendations, Netflix will calculate a percent match, a predicted percent match for every movie or show. And this is basically where it's based on others' users' ratings for users who are similar to you. And shows that you have rated so far. So, the percent, for example, here's the 99% match that Netflix recommended this show Money Heist for a particular user who's actually a student of mine from South Korea. And that's why it says that Money Heist is number 5 in South Korea today. Alright, so to conclude, when a business has a large number of products to offer to its customers, it can be quite challenging or frustrating for customers to find products they like. So this business can use a recommendation system based on the user ratings of the purchases to make personalized recommendations to match customers' needs. One of the key algorithms or problems is the problem of clustering, finding users or products that are similar to one another. And clustering algorithms are used in many recommendation systems. In the next episode, we'll be explaining how clustering algorithms work. So tune in next time. And since we're on the topic of recommendation systems, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that I can become a very successful social influencer on YouTube. See you next time. Bye.